Are you struggling to create your own yoga sequences while teaching others? Many people rely on pre-made sequences or templates. If you know some simple ingredients, you can create your own from scratch.
In the next 5 minutes, we'll teach you some simple yet effective ingredients that we use for creating flows that we teach at Vikasa every day. If you enjoy this and would like to experience a full 90-minute flow class with us, where you'll see each of our flow components in action, comment yes below and we'll send it over to you in Messenger.
My name is Nikki.
And I'm Michael. We are part of the Vikasa Yoga Academy teacher training team here on Koh Samui in Thailand, where we have been training new yoga teachers for over 5 years.
In each of our videos, you will get something useful which will enhance your yoga practice and your life.
Now, we're going to show you a simple and unique method that we use to create flows here at Vikasa, which lead to what our students say is the greatest stillness you can ever achieve in yoga. So there are many ways to sequence classes, either for yourself, if you're doing your own practice, or to teach a class to others, many different ways. What we want to share with you in the next few minutes are just some high-level points that you can use to create a basic flow that will make sense and will deliver an experience either to yourself or to your students. So it's very important when building flows to be intentional about what you're doing, to break them down, not just to make random movements one after the other. And the way that we do that here at Vikasa is by creating a series of blocks. So if you have a 1-hour period or a 90-minute period within which to teach a class, you have a number of blocks. The first block is seated grounding and warm-up. The second block is some form of sun salutation or dynamic movement to get the body warmed up. Then you move into the flow block, and this can be broken down into a number of smaller blocks, but this is the flow section. Then followed by, at the end of all of that, integration, where you slow things down, do more stretching asanas. And finally, we have Savasana, the relaxation where you lie down and you feel all the effects of the practice that came beforehand. So basically 5 blocks, each of which can be planned out in advance of your class. In terms of approaching these blocks, which one do you think we should start with first?
We won't start with the first one. We will actually go all the way to, I guess, the flow block, where we know kind of where we want to head in our practice.
Exactly. So what we're going to show you today is called peak pose sequencing. You pick a peak pose or the most advanced or complicated pose you're going to do in a practice. So for today's exercise, let's pick extended side angle as an example. Nikki, you want to show an extended side angle? Many variations of this, but we use this one as a starting point. In the extended side angle, you can see we need hip opening, we need chest opening too, groin opening, hamstring flexibility, external rotation through the front hip. You can also take a bind in this position and you need shoulder opening as well. But that is the shape that we're going to be heading towards in the flow. So you can come out of that, Nikki. When sequencing up towards that in the flow, the best thing to do is to think of a couple of other asanas that share similar traits. So a good one is Warrior Two. Very similar to extended side angle, but not quite as challenging because the weight is more central. Another one might be Half Moon, which has, same as extended side angle, has the hips open, but has a balance component as well. So these are 2 things that I would try and throw into a class that has an extended side angle as a peak pose. So that's where we're going. Now we go back to the start. We start block 1 with grounding and some form of warm-up. Don't get too tricky in the warm-up. The idea being just get the body moving. Try and touch as many parts of the body as possible. Warming up the spine in as many directions as you can. Remembering to warm up wrists and the back chain of the body, which are 2 things that are often neglected. That's section 1 done. Moving into Surya Namaskar or sun salutation section. Here there are many variations, but at a base level, if you just did 3 sun A's, that would be a good warm-up for the body. We go over sun A's in another video, but just some form of dynamic warm-up movement. So we would normally break the flow section down into 3 separate flows. The first flow would be a series of long holds in strengthening positions. So Nikki, for the extended side angle, what would you have in that first flow?
So that would probably be, you will start in down dog, you would lift one leg up, step forward, coming up into a lunge, spending some time in a lunge, really just feeling into your legs, opening up into Warrior Two, getting some time to really feel into that hip, and then just a reverse warrior, getting a little bit of side stretch, hands down, back to down dog. You could even open up the hip on the way if you wanted to.
And then for the second flow, you do exactly the same thing again. but just one breath, one move, and maybe even adding in the half moon towards the end of that flow. Then you move into the third flow, which is when you incorporate your peak pose extended side angle. And that might look like this. Nikki will start in downward facing dog. And we'll go inhale, right leg to the sky, 3-leg dog. Exhale, step the right foot through in between the hands. Inhale, rise, arms reach up, crescent lunge. Exhale, open, warrior 2. Inhale, flip the front palm, reverse the warrior. Exhale, half moon, right hand down, left leg lifts. Inhale here. Exhale, land back down in warrior 2. Inhale, flip front palm again, reverse. Exhale, extended side angle. She's now come into the deepest progression, or the deepest version of the pose. You see it's similar to warrior 2, but moving deeper. And she'll hold this, the peak pose, for some period of time to really extract the most benefit out of the pose, having warmed up the body in a number of ways beforehand. She finish up that, beautiful, releasing the bind. You go inhale to reverse the warrior, staying low. Then exhale to cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Inhale, right leg back and up, 3-leg dog. Bend the knee, exhale, open the hip. One more inhale here, and then exhale, downward facing dog. And obviously, you'd then do the other side. That would complete the flow section. You then move into the fourth of 5 blocks, which is integration. This is the chance to cool things down a little bit. You've brought the heat up, now you cool down. We do some stretching, maybe some time for an arm balance if you'd like. Think about the things that you've done in the flow and then the things that you haven't done and add those things in now. So there was no twisting, for example, in that flow. It could be nice to do some twisting in the integration section. You often add in a back bend.
Some hip openers, and because we've already opened up the hips, it can feel really nice to go deeper then into the integration, or to work much more on hip flexion and extension, for example.
Exactly, the things that you've sort of neglected in the flow section, or the things you've done and you want to go deeper into. Then you don't forget the 5th and most important block, which is Savasana. A decent period of time to lie down, fully relax, let the sensations flood the body and compensate for all that effort that you've put in. So again, many, many ways to sequence, but that is a high-level basic way to throw together a class that will make sense no matter what the peak pose is.
That's it. If you would like to experience a full 90-minute flow session where you can experience each flow component in action, comment yes below and we'll send it over in Messenger. Namaste. Ding!
Now kiss.
Mwah.